Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. That's quite the start, right? That's airplane lag for you. Got back late last night from Kansas and quite the trip out there to Kansas for that blizzard and first blizzard conditions of the year for us. So I figure, hey, let's reconvene and let me show you what we captured from our 360 cam. Really remarkable stuff. Going to be showing it later today on Fox Weather, so very excited about that. Really amazing what we can do with this. And I was thinking about it, looking at some stuff over the weekend before, or late last week, whenever it was before I left, that I'm going to really do a lot more with 360 this year. And I was talking to some of the back end team about it, that maybe even try to do a full length 360 documentary that we can put on YouTube and maybe even Meta Quest or the Meta Universe, whatever it is. Get in touch with Meta and try to get it out there for people to see, not only on a screen like you're probably watching now, right? But also in one of those 360 devices like I've got. I've got a Meta Quest 2, and I enjoy a couple of VR games, but the 360 VR videos that are out there from everybody from NASA to independent creators, from rock climbing to Everest to you know, visiting different parts of the world that you might not ever see in person. And there's just not a lot of weather content in 360. And I thought, hey, this is a good opportunity to maybe produce a full length 360 documentary and put that on YouTube and Meta for, later on in the year. We'll see. So let me jump over to the YouTube and see what's happening. We got a few folks on here. Good to see everybody. William Woodgate, how's it going over there in the UK? And we got Kathy. Yeah, it is. It is a peak, isn't it? EEK. I don't know. Tim put that thumbnail together. Or is it? Yeah, it's peak because PEAK is like reaching the top. That's funny. He must have been tired when he put that together. That's funny. I did have a cold, by the way, before I left for Kansas, and man, I'm just what is up with that? These colds. I guess it's the time of year, whatever. Very annoying. Plus, when I do these in the morning, maybe I should switch this to the afternoon. I mean, I just got up like 2 hours ago, and I gotta like get going and get the engine warmed up. Anyway, good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna have a pretty good little discussion today. Let me go back to screen sharing, and it's been a little bit of time since I've done this, so we gotta remember everything. So yeah, that should be a peak, PEEK. We'll get Tim to change that. So I like this Fox Weather helping me with my bullet points inadvertently. Some things I'm going to talk about. Texas to southeast faces high impact snow and ice threat. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And then this really caught my attention here. LA and the LA basin bracing for a big time, potentially catastrophic windstorm event. And if any fires break out, it's going to just be very, very bad, obviously. And then there was a really nasty earthquake over in Nepal within the last 24 hours. I'm not an earthquake expert, so that's just something that Fox is covering, but figured I'd mention it. So let's jump into the winter weather in Texas real quick. We'll get to the Kansas recap and at the end. That's the eye candy. We got to hold that to the end when more people come in, right? So my friend Dylan, he told me he was really excited about this. He's a weather weenie, like most of us are, and there's nothing wrong with that. Major winter storm coming to North Texas Thursday into Friday. Heavy snow, definitely crippling travel disruptions along the I-20 corridor. Our friend Jeff Geyer over in Weatherford, he is not happy about this at all. So we got Dylan on one hand, who's like a little kid. Yeah, this is going to be great. And then Jeff, he's a hot weather guy. I'm all over the place. I'm not going to Dallas for this. Excuse me. This is so frustrating. We're gonna have to move this to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something, so I can get all this morning crud out. We'll just call it the afternoon discussion. Anyway, and maybe I should do it in the evenings. Maybe more people would be around to tune in, but I'm usually busy in the evenings with kids. Um, anyway, Dylan's excited. Jeff is not, but seriously, people need to be very much paying attention to this in North Texas and then even south of there, where it's going to be more of a wintry mix. All kidding aside, it's very serious. You got a big travel corridor through there, millions of people. You know, it happens every few years, but you're still not used to it, right? And, you know, you just know what's coming with all the driving problems and whatever. People already drive through there. It's not quite as bad as I-95 in Miami, but if you know the Dallas Metroplex and how people drive, this is going to get rough really quick. So pay attention to that. All right, we'll talk about it more in a minute. But there's the headline on the Twitter here. But then out in the Southwest, over in Southern Cal, I saw this, and a couple people were mentioning this on social media the last few days, and it was just kind of buried. Oh, okay, something to watch. But then National Weather Service LA put this out yesterday. This looks like it could be really serious, especially if we get any fires. But even beyond that, the possibility of major power outages, structural damage. This is going to be really, really interesting to see because it's just wind, right? It's like a very atypical setup. And I like this, the Weather Service responding back. Somebody asked, what's the difference between a typical Santa Ana event and this one? And they said that the wind direction of this event is going to be more north and northeast rather than the typical northeast to east. So the strongest wind corridors shift more east and focus over more of LA County than is typical. And that includes the San Gabriel foothills rather than the Ventura coast. So, you know, this is quite um, a problem, right? Like this could be bad, especially if we get any fires breaking out. Let me jump over here and get Ben Knoll. I saw a tweet from him. Let's pull up his Twitter here. Here it is. Concerning to see widespread 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts forecast across southern Cal, where the wildfire risk is extreme on Tuesday through Wednesday. He says it'll be interesting to see where the winds of this magnitude ranks in the high resolution model climatology, probably near the top or an extreme event. So, you know, again, this is pretty serious. So, for all of our friends in the Southwest, way out there, I mean, it's pretty localized, agreed, the LA basin, but, you know, uh, this could be bad. So, we'll be watching that closely. All right, National Weather Service homepage. You know, we're starting to get the winter patchwork. I like to watch this in the spring. You get a lot more severe weather. So there's just different colors that you see at different times of year. And this is the time of year where you see more of those wintry watches and warnings coming up. And this is really going to fill in over the next couple of days, especially across Texas, where we do have winter storm watches already in effect. Let's see what the official word is. Here's a nice infographic from the National Weather Service out of Fort Worth. And we scroll down here and let's just take a look at Fort Worth itself. And there it is, 22 right now. I was just there 24 hours ago. I was on my way back. The miracle of flying, man. I'm telling you what, when it works, it works. It's incredible. They'll hit a high of 40 today, but then the badness comes. Now, luckily, it's not going to be brutal cold like we saw in 2021. That was terrible. That was truly a cataclysm. We all remember that. High of 35, low of 32, so just right there at the edge. But the snow could come down fast and furious, and any kind of slickness on those corridors over there could create a lot of problems. So those are some of the things that we will be watching. Jump back over to YouTube and see who all is coming into the classroom today. I like that analogy. 34 folks, good to see you. So let's see who we got. Let's see what people are talking about. Yeah, chilly, relatively chilly down in South Florida this morning. And now let's see, some of these usernames, that's what's funny. you can pretty much choose whatever username you want on social media, right? And some of them are easy, like Kathy Blacklock, right? It's a really common error. And Kathy knows because I think you did some kind of editing or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But then you have usernames like Small Penguin God, and you have to like make sure you read it right because sometimes you read one of these and it's like, uh-oh, you said something bad. Anyway, Captain Call Out. No, not coming to DFW for the snow in this situation. I just got back and I got a lot of work to do and this stuff with the 360 video later today with Fox Weather. In fact, let me just see if I have an email back from the producers. Perfect. The 3 o'clock hour. Excellent. I'll be on Fox Weather in the 3 o'clock hour. I'll respond back later. So no, I'm not going to be in Dallas for the snow, and I'll watch from afar. But I'll be back for hail season. We'll talk about that later. Somebody was asking about the Santa Ana Super Charis, however you say that. Um, is it like hurricane winds? Well, what happens is you get a big high pressure sitting over the Great Basin out west, and the winds come around and they kind of funnel through the mountains, and the air is coming down. It's called downsloping, and it compresses and it speeds up and it heats up. It's oversimplification of it, but it's just the way the high pressure is situated out there. And it's a clear sky event. That's the thing. It's all clear. And then you just get this crazy strong wind, and it's downsloping, so it compresses and warms. So the humidity is like nothing. The dew points drop, and you get some very, very high fire weather danger out of that. Hey, I said it right. All right. Um, Bedford, Virginia. How is it up there? I was thinking about for this last winter storm that I just got back from, I was gonna go up towards Baltimore, but then I saw the possibility of blizzard conditions um, in Kansas, and I was like, I got to go for the higher impact part, and it really was. We had um, icy conditions. We like an ice storm first with a almost 3/4 of an inch of ice, and then the snow came in and the blizzard conditions and so forth. It was something else. And we set up a couple of cameras out there, and everything worked really, really well. We tested a couple of our newer cameras that we're working with from Logitech, and eventually going to replace our Nest cameras with those, I think. Just a really good field mission. So let's see. Let's go back to screen sharing so I can jump in and continue on with hopefully some helpful info. So current satellite as the sun comes up across the lower 48. By the way, a little trivia for you. What is that line right there called? The difference between daylight and the where it's still dark? That's called the terminator. It's true. Not making that up. No Arnold Schwarzenegger jokes. I mean, you can if you want to. I won't be doing them. Um, but yeah, it's called the Terminator, and you can see that on the moon when it's not full, and you can see the Terminator, the line between daylight and dark on any planet, any celestial body that you can get a telescope on. It's not just an earthbound phenomenon. But sun coming up, and we see a few weather features here. I don't have my telestrator. Let's get that. I gotta unshare the screen because it's got to capture everything. We'll use yellow today. All right. Feel like Bob Ross every time I say that. Run the colors across the screen. There we go. Nice little yellow. So upper level low right in here. And we're going to have high pressure sitting up in here, and that'll funnel those winds down into the LA basin. And then you're going to eject this energy out into the southern plains in Texas. You're going to get that overrunning moisture. All that cold air has come down. Yep, going to be nasty, but a pretty good day right now, especially for travel. Yesterday, not so much. Everybody's going to be playing catch up. But look, I'm going to tell you something about over here in Texas. And for those of you that are watching, if you know people that are going to be traveling, you're traveling yourselves. This region in here with Dallas Fort Worth Airport, the travel nightmares that are going to ensue because of what's coming is going to affect the whole rest of the lower 48. No doubt about it. You got American as a big hub over here, and what happens at one big airport affects everybody else. Because, and I was thinking about this, the gentleman that went with me, Scott, from Columbia, South Carolina, to help me out in Kansas, I flew direct from Wilmington to Dallas and back. Now, my plane, it's a ERJ or whatever it is, 175, that Embraer. That's the plane I typically fly on that does that direct route. It does not apparently go back and forth between Dallas and Wilmington all day. Sometimes it'll go to Illinois and then it'll come back and then it'll go to Wilmington. It's just really how the airline scheduling stuff works is just mind blowing, I'm sure. Scott's plane to Columbia originated from Vegas and it had to come out to Dallas and then over to Columbia. Luckily, he got to skip the Charlotte part because his plane got delayed. It's a long story, whatever. But they don't all just, it's the spoke and hub system. That's what it's called. So Dallas is going to get rolled up here Thursday, whatever, and that will affect all kinds of other airlines. So you might have a flight coming in from Minnesota to Dallas that then connects to Tampa, but Dallas is pooched. What's going to happen? The flight to Tampa is going to get pooched. So you guys got to be ready for this. And I'm going to talk about this in my update later today that I do, the regular weekly update. So just keeping you ahead of this, that you can be in Charlotte or you could be in, Salt Lake City and you're trying to connect somewhere and you're like, why is my plane so late? There's nothing going on here. Well, Dallas could be rolled up and that's why. So just keep that in mind. What do they say? It's almost snarky. You hear people say, pack your bags and your patience. You just want to shut up. Traveling can be hard sometimes. It's for me yesterday it was easy. But typically when I'm done with a mission, whatever it is, the bad weather has gone. And usually it's a day later and it moves out of the way. And I usually get pretty lucky that way. But yeah, one of the things we did out there in Kansas, this was very exciting, is really employing the use of these 360 cams. Got my hands on an Insta 360 a few months ago, and we've been using the GoPro Max for about 4 years, and really didn't do much with 360 video. Kind of tinkered with it a little bit in 2020, and a few odds and ends things that I was playing with it, but then just in the last several months through the summer this year, the hurricane season, and then in the fall, really understanding what we can do with it, especially last year during hail season. I've already done a presentation or two about that. And I think it's very obvious, when you have a regular fixed camera, just like you're looking at right here, this 16 by 9 format, that's all we can see unless I move the camera around physically. But the 360 cam, when we put it out, especially these latest versions, this one will do 8K video. That's insane. Then we can put it somewhere for severe weather, let it capture all that it can capture, and then we can go back and look at what we want to see later. Up, down, left, right, all immersive. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration of it. That's what I was really excited to do today. So let me get the screen sharing going, and we will go right into the Insta360 software. All right, let's move some of this stuff out of the way so we get a nice clear shot. Hey, look, I'm wearing the exact same thing. Isn't that funny? I like my Duke Blue Devils, and this is a very comfortable sweatshirt, so don't give me any crap. And I haven't unpacked yet. I just got back last night, so, cut me some slack. But anyway, there's Scott, Buffalo Bills fan. Yep. He bought that hat, by the way, at that's a Love's back there. It's got an Arby's with it. But he bought the hat in there. It's got reflective stuff on the back. It's like a safety hat. Anyway, so this is what 360 video looks like. I'm going to play this right out of the player. We were getting ready to set this up, we being Scott, because he's tall, on top of this rental truck that we had. Now, normally this would be the view that you would have from like a GoPro, where it's just very static. The beauty of the 360, of course, like I'm doing now, is we could move around and interact with it. Now, obviously, splitting down the middle of it, you don't see where he's attaching it. It's just the miracle of how they blend this together. But the end result, once he's done, bam, we now have an immersive shot. Look at the sun up there. That was so cool. It was actually very cold. It was about 19 degrees out there. So let's just jump ahead a little bit. We get rolling, and I'm going to take you on a little tour through Wichita at the end of the blizzard conditions. This is where it was winding down. Clearly, visibility is more than a quarter mile. The blizzard warning probably had expired by this point, but it was still snowing. Then there was another band that was getting ready to move through. So let's just keep moving through and we can see what's up. By the way, you can go back and look behind down in the truck. We got a special mount that I bought that puts the camera up about a foot above the truck there. And there we are, just kind of driving around in Wichita. We'll just keep jumping around on the timeline. Look at that. Just driving down surface streets. Really, really neat to be able to just interact with the video like this and see a winter storm, in this case, obviously it's a winter storm, differently. You can look up and, watch the tree as it goes by, just like you're sitting up there. I just thought this is really, really going to be a neat way to show different weather phenomenon. Here's a school, an academy. Uh, Obviously, it was the weekend, so nobody's there. And the snow had picked up again. You can see it's starting to snow a little bit heavier. And then I think we get up here a little bit longer. We get past Wichita State University. Look at the sun up there. That nice yellow. That's definitely a Bob Ross sky. When he had paint those wintry scenes, that reminds. Hey, look, there's somebody walking. Let's back it up a little bit. That's the other nice thing is you can interact with the video in all kinds of ways. Now, by the way, this is 8K video. We got a pretty powerful machine here in my office, but even it has trouble sometimes. Like I'm trying to do frame by frame. There you go. So you got somebody walking, and I like what Scott said. It's the human condition. Somebody walking along there. But this is what I like about it. We can go through, we can track. I'm probably driving like 30 miles an hour. I was driving uh, my rental vehicle, so I had to do most of the driving, of course. But it's just really, really neat. Let's see when we get to Wichita State. There it is. That's where they play basketball, I do believe. Anybody follow the Shockers? And here's the football stadium coming up. Just really, really cool that we can do this. Some of the traffic that's out there, the wind kind of blowing. You can look over there. You can zoom in. That's the other cool part. You can zoom in. There's the old flag blowing. So it's a little breezy out there. There's the football stadium. There's the sun up there. Totally amazing what we can do with technology now. Immersing you in this. Now, if we could do it live, and that will eventually happen, um, that'll be the holy grail. I think I can retire after that. We just get some live 360 that is this good. That'll just be remarkable. But then the camera starts getting some schmutz on it, as you would imagine, on the windward side and the leeward side that's facing back. Not so bad, but just really neat stuff. We drove around for quite a while, and this camera will record for about 90 minutes on its own. Sinclair. There's a Sinclair gas station, the little dinosaur. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you a little demo of this as we drove around the truly awesome city. I really like Wichita in Kansas. Let's see how this video ends and where it ends. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, lots more stuff on it as we drive through. Oh yeah, I remember the Google Maps. This was hilarious. Trying to get back to Scott's hotel. We stayed in two different hotels. And the Google Maps routed us some goofy way to get back there. That was funny. Story for another day. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool stuff there, that 360. Get back over to the YouTube chat, see what you guys are saying about that. So what do you think about that? The 360 video, hopefully it all came through. There's obviously audio with it, but um, that's not as important. And these will be on YouTube public later today or tomorrow, by the way. And if you've got one of those VR headsets, when these are public, they should be pretty easy to find. Um, You just go to the Hurricane Track channel on YouTube, and any of the latest videos should be just right there. So, and it's a good birthday present, or it's Christmas has come and gone. Ask for one. I mean, they're a few $100, but maybe over the coming months, I got to look at some of the rules of YouTube. I don't want to get in trouble, but maybe as our way to sort of incentivize people to subscribe to the channel, we can give a couple of these VR headsets away. I don't know, just I think it's amazing. You put that VR headset on and you crank it up to the highest quality. It's one thing for me to show you on the computer, but when you can sit there and you can look around and look up, it's like you're riding out. You definitely get motion sickness in the VR headset. It is crazy. Um, so let me show you a couple more though before I let you go and get back over to my player. Delete that. Go back to the screen share real quick. All right. Open files. Yes, please. And let's see, where are my 360 files? This was pretty cool. I put I put one recording session in the cornfield near my hotel, and I just let it sit there for a little while. It was just kind of neat. There's me setting it down. And what I like about this, now, part of it still had all that snow and ice on it from the driving side. In fact, I was on my way back to the hotel. But what I like about this is just being able to look and just be there, especially in VR, like with a headset. You can hear the wind, you can hear the snow coming by. These are corn stalks, they're all harvested. But look, this is what I'm talking about, the usefulness of it. You can see the ice that is caked these corn stalks. And in this instance, that's probably about a quarter inch thick. That was pretty cool being able to just see that. I think I got another one I can share with you. And we have, let's see, which one? Yeah, so then I put it over I just called this snowfield. When the snow is blowing, when you have wind and particulate matter, it's called the aeolian processes. It's a like geographic, meteorological slash term, whatever. Aeolian processes. I think that's Aeolian, something like that. Um, Look it up. It's an interesting thing related to earth science. So you get these aeolian processes happening even in snow. And this is a great example of that. And this is what I like about it. So there's the wind blowing the snow, and that's your aeolian process. But look, you can zoom in, and if you didn't have a sense of scale, and if the corn stalks weren't there, let's see if I can move it up. You really don't understand. You don't have you could be looking at, we're just a few inches away, but you could also say, no, no, this is at 30,000 feet and I'm looking down on a snow-covered planet. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting that the perspective, the sense of scale. And if you ran the camera along this little ridge line, you know, you could get pretty creative with it. It'd be like that Empire Strikes Back. Put a couple of action figures out there. I should have done that. That would have been cool. Do some stop motion. Hey, fun with snow. But look, I just think that's really, really neat. Seeing the process of how the snow creates these patterns. Um, I don't know. It's just part of being a weather geek. And there's the beautiful sky. Again, a great Bob Ross picture. You just need some mountains and some more trees and take those red signs out of there. I don't think Bob would have ever painted any red private property, no trespassing signs. But that's a great winter sky. And these 360 cams really, really going to be effective to show you guys the weather in unique and special ways. I really think so. So thanks for uh, letting me give you that tour. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Steve with the aliens. I was wondering when Steve was going to pop in. How you doing, Steve? Yeah, Frozen. Oh, I see it. Yeah, I should have put some aliens out there. That would have been funny. Yeah, maybe we'll have some kind of like a gnome or something, kind of a deal that travels with us. all the time. Um, so Mark wants to know, what is the mount you use for the instant on the rental truck? I don't know the name of it, but it's got two suction cups on the bottom, and then it's got this little monopod deal in the middle with a threaded um, receiver on the top. As the Insta360 is, as they say in the business, that's the female, and then the male is on top, and you just screw it down and you're good to go. I know those are not the best terms for it, but that's what they call it. Male and female connectors. Um, and it was difficult. Scott had to really work hard to get the suction cup to work because it was so cold. It was actually very challenging. And then luckily it kept raining and snow and everything, and it encased the bottom, and it stuck pretty good. But yeah, so let's go back, and we've done our little tour. Let's just take a look real quick, screen share one last time as we wrap things up, or get close to it anyway. We have the GFS operational here. Excuse me, gotta get some water. I tell you, can we get to summer, please, so we can just be done with this? Having a cold every 2 weeks. I'm so over it, and there's nothing I can do about it. I eat right, I exercise, I get plenty of sleep, and you still get sick. At least I'm not deathly ill. Anyway, it's just annoying. So let's focus. GFS time. You know what? I forgot the telestrator's still there. There it is. Let's see a good color we can use, red. So Texas, that's where we're going to be watching first, and we'll see where this evolves. This is the 6Z run. And oh, by the way, you should also be able to see, yeah, there's actually out west. I had it pretty close. Let's start with that first. Sorry, I'm just jumping around here. We'll start out west because you do have that high fire danger in the Santa Ana. So there's your high pressure, 1047 millibar sitting up, yeah, kind of close to the Great Basin. It's up over the Rockies. But then the other problem is you got the surface low in southwest Arizona. So the difference between the high and the low, you know what that is, right? That's the pressure gradient. And the isobars are packed pretty good in here. But watch what happens as we move this forward. You really start to see those Santa Anas come together, and it doesn't look like much, but trust me, that kind of a gradient is going to be the problem there. All right. So that's a big reason why we go back to the beginning of the animation here. You got high pressure to the north, surface low to the south, and it's that pressure gradient right through here that's going to funnel those winds down into the LA basin. All right, now let's go back out to the wider shot, and let's start with our storm in Texas. Pay attention right through here. It is getting ready to get really nasty through there over the coming days. Very cold, high pressure in place, so your surface aloft is cold. So the air column is pretty cold, but it does start to moderate a little bit, and then that southwesterly flow comes in over the top of it, and you're going to get that overrunning moisture. And where the air column is deep enough with the cold, you'll get snow. Where the air column is cold at the surface but warmer aloft, you're going to get mix, freezing rain, sleet, all that stuff. And the GFS is interesting because it's not quite as aggressive as um, the Euro has been. The battle here, and this is only 72 hours out. Nevertheless, that's a pretty nasty look. Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Alabama, Mississippi, and then maybe, and we're going to get this cold air damming effect here on the east side of the Appalachians. Some ice and snow problems for South Carolina, northeast Georgia, the western parts of North Carolina. And then on this particular run, the GFS is able to hand that system out into the Atlantic before it does what it did yesterday. We all remember this one. Yes, we do. The run of the ages there, right? That was a significant blizzard that the GFS. Now, look, it's still capable of this, but the ensembles are, not as bullish. We'll see. It's like hurricanes when we're watching hurricane development. Even 3 or 4 days out, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And with winter weather, it's even more dynamic, and things can change very quickly. But it does look like Texas across the deep south in the mid-Atlantic will be in for more wintry, wet weather. And again, the whole airport thing from Dallas all across the major airports, Atlanta, Charlotte, and up the East Coast, this entire corridor eventually could be affected. And you think about it, even once Dallas starts digging out over here, then you're going to affect Charlotte, which is already a nightmare of an airport. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but come on. It's anytime I could avoid Charlotte, I do, believe me. And then that storm system, if it really ramps up like some of the model runs have shown, we're going to have major flight problems. And the more I travel, the more I pay attention to that and really sympathize for our daily business travelers because holy cow, when you're stuck, it just really stinks. And then, we're out at about 5 days and then there's a week and we'll just wait and see. But cold, cold, cold and snowy and stormy and wintry and just what you'd expect for January. And at least, like I said, not quite as bad nearly as 2021 for Texas. All right, a couple other things, and I'll take a look at this later today as well on the update, but I'll just tease it with you here. Hurricane season still far away. We're not going to worry about it, but these are the puzzle pieces that I like to look at, and this is one of the most important. And we have got to be in La Nina. I'll check over at Storm 2K and see what they're talking about over there. The folks that really watch that, when CPC does their next update, we should officially be in La Nina. That is quite the signal. But look how it's kind of shifted to the Central Pacific here, whereas the East Pac closest to South America has actually warmed up a little bit. That's an interesting look to the INSO. Yeah, it's always interesting, isn't it? Nothing's ever, you don't get a carbon copy. The Gulf still absolutely way above normal, as is the main development region and the Eastern Atlantic over here. None of that's changed. And as I was talking about on my most recent video discussion, no reason to believe that next hurricane season won't be anything but active. But where they go, what the impacts are, nobody knows. La Nina, probably, like I said, just waiting to have a Climate Prediction Center officially declare it. And then, just watching different models. This is just one of many, the CFS. The average there as we get through hurricane season, cool neutral with a warm Atlantic should give us a very busy hurricane season once again. Plenty of time to watch and wait for that, of course. But since we are hurricane track, I think it's apropos to talk about it, right? Not worry about it, just talk about it. There's a difference. All right, before I wrap up, we'll take a look over here on the YouTube side one more time. And then, hey, there's Jessica down there in the Savannah Pooler area. Good to see you. And Spooky over in the UK. So, yeah, Spooky, when you get any UK snow, be sure to post that on our Discord. I would love to see it. All right, so that's about it from me for this morning. I appreciate you tuning in to my look at the world of weather. All right. And I hope you enjoyed that little tour in 360 World. Again, I will make those 360 videos public either later today or tomorrow. And oh, one more thing. Speaking of public, the Zeta documentary of Hurricane Highway Season 2 finally done. I put it on Patreon over the weekend, and later today I will make that public. Again, I realize there's not millions of people salivating, waiting for that episode to come out. But each time I finish one, there's a sense of accomplishment because it's a legacy that'll be on YouTube and live on the internet and the digital world long after I stop doing this, whatever that means, right? Hey, with AI and everything that's going there, maybe we all live forever, right? Some of the stuff you read is just crazy, isn't it? But back to reality. I'm very excited to finally have that Zeta episode done, and I will make it publicly available later today. So it should just pop up as a YouTube subscriber. You should get notified when I make it public. And yes, James says go Duke. Number 4 right now on the coaches and ESPN and AP polls. Very good stuff there. The only ACC team. And by the way, speaking of ACC, I had no idea that SMU, Southern Methodist University, I think it is now an ACC team in Dallas. Duke was in Dallas this weekend playing SMU. They beat them badly. And I was like, what? Scott had to fill me in on all that. But anyway, yes, go Blue Devils. Big Duke fan here. Probably lost, I don't know, 30 subscribers because of that, but that's okay. I'll gain them back with more Duke fans. Hey, look, really, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Let me kill my video first, and then we'll do the audio from there. And I'll bid you guys a great rest of your Tuesday. And really, I do appreciate you tuning in. And thanks for all of you that tuned in over the weekend to our coverage in Kansas. I will be watching this upcoming winter storm for the East. And if it pans out to be something significant, we'll be out again. Otherwise, look for a more concise, consolidated video update later today. And don't forget that Zeta episode will drop publicly later today as well. And then 360 videos today and tomorrow. Just lots of stuff. All right? That's it. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. I'm Mark Sudduth. See you next time.